Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cardinal Sports Complex for CTN's live coverage of girls high school soccer. It's the regular season finale as the Coon Rapids Cardinals host the Champlin Park Rebels. Joe Young, Bill Hupp up above the action, and Bill, two-game win streak for the Lady Cardinals. Grace Stevenson, 3 goals, 3 assists on Monday in the 9-1 rout over Park Center. And they'd love to make it a 3-game streak going into the playoffs.
Yeah, Ben Benson's bunch are popping up. 13 goals in the last 2 games. As you said, both of them wins. They're up to 4-10-1 for a record on the season. Now they face another 1-9 team in conference play, in what should be a really, really compelling game. And again, it'll be all about if they can score, right? They've scored 5 goals total in their 10 losses and 1 draw. But like we said, their offense is popping right now. And you have to imagine, Joe, that the Cardinals and Ben Benson are just loaded with confidence right now.
Well, and they're facing a team that's similar, 4-10. They won 2 to start the season, lost 10 in a row, and now they're coming in off of back-to-back wins. But they've had their struggles, have the Rebels, throughout the season to score goals. So could be, a good matchup between 2 equally matched programs.
Yeah, like I said, both coming in, sitting in 10th place in the conference, 1-9 records identical. So you expect to see a good matchup under the lights, and hope for everyone's sake on this cool evening that the rain holds off, unlike in the boys' contest.
Well, it looks like the skies have cleared out, and the winds have actually died down a bit from what they were in the second half of that boys' game. Cardinals will start with the ball going left to right, wearing the black unis. Champlin Park, obviously, in the white.
Traditional white and blue.
And it makes such a big difference, the top to bottom in this conference, because it's a larger conference, and the schools, obviously there's some really large schools and some that are not quite so large.
And we've got an early injury, and that does not look good. I believe it was a non-contact injury
and that's
on the turf.
Kaylin Green, and she's a big part of this puzzle too. Ooh, knee to knee.
Oh,
not good.
That hurts. And she is down. The trainers obviously attend to her. And I said it was non-contact before I even seen the replay, but there was a lot of contact there. That always hurts.
Yep,
and that was almost like a shin.
Well, I would hope for her sake. What I saw, it looked to me like it was knee to knee, and her knee may have hyperextended a little bit. But I'm no doctor. I'm not. It looked like it bent the wrong way, and hopefully she's going to be okay, and it's not going to be anything serious.
Yeah.
Especially at this point in the season. Kaylin had a couple of goals in the game on Monday. Had 2 assists in the goal, the win over Cambridge Isani on Saturday.
Yeah, she should be a big part of this team moving forward, just a sophomore.
Yeah, and multi-sport athlete. She's a big part of the girls' basketball plans this fall or this winter as well. So that season right around the corner, and that could be a cause of concern for Coach Chris Bierman and his staff as well. And
barely can put weight on that right leg, but it's good to see her up. As that replay, it's one of those replays you only need to see once. What's her best position in basketball?
She's a guard.
Okay.
And she's a very solid player. She was a consistent contributor last year as a freshman. Ran into Coach Bierman on the way out of the facility the other night, actually. After the football game was canceled, I think is when we saw him. but it might have been Monday after the soccer games. We were talking to him, and he was pretty excited about what they have coming in this year. But that young lady is a big part of their plan. I assume that was their plan or is their plan for the point guard position. But we certainly hope she's okay much sooner than that. Maybe even back tonight. But don't push it either.
I was going to say, the way she's walking, I'd be surprised if we see her again tonight. But so to have that happen in the first 45 seconds of the game, Cardinals have to shake that off and recover. And the knee-to-knee, the knee-to-knee is not fun either. There's a reason they've outlawed that in hockey.
Yeah, and Kalen was just being aggressive, going after the ball, trying to put it on net, and on the follow-through runs into the defender. And again, hopefully she's going to be okay. An opportunity for Champlin Park early on.
Great save.
Turnaround shot there by Amara Easley, and Stella Bone reaches out and gets a piece of it.
And that was a desperate piece because that was going in, I believe, as Easley it deflected off a teammate, and Bone just gets a fingertip to it in order to turn it around the corner.
Corner kick upcoming. Low drive off the side of the net.
It's been pretty impressive to see Stella Bone's growth as a goalie this year. She was good last year, got that experience, but you can just see her kind of growing in confidence and savvy with each game. Just a sophomore, but just someone who knows where she is in the goal and knows how to play, makes the right play more often than not.
And also runs cross country in the same season.
Does she really? Mm-hmm. Didn't know that. She definitely has more of the cross country runners. She's not
physique.
Super tall, right? She's built like a runner, right? But yeah, I imagine she's pretty good at that too.
Yeah, she was one of the top finishers for the varsity when she was in middle school. I don't know how much time, how many races, events she's been to this year. But, when you're trying to play two sports in one season and you're the goalkeeper for the soccer team, pretty important that she be here for them on their game days.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how you have time to do both, but I suppose some kids, kickers do soccer and football, so it's technically allowed. But pretty impressive. You have to have some excellent time management to pull that off. Good block. I believe that's Sophie Bakri, and she is, just ever-presence. Sophia Bakri. Such an important player for this Cardinals team.
Grace Stevenson getting hauled down.
There's another set of siblings. Grace Stevenson and her brother, as we talked about him in the boys' game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stevenson really had a great night on Monday night. She got the first 2 goals of the game, and then the rest of the night you could tell every time she got the touch, she was taking it wide. She was keeping her head up. She was looking for teammates. She was trying to distribute. Ended up getting 3 assists, I believe, and then scored the last goal of the game as she just said, I want to finish the hat trick.
3 goals and 3 assists. That's a night.
Yeah. She was kind of all over the place. And again, Park Center, a team that just didn't have much going for it. Coon Rapids did a great job of keeping possession. They were allowed a little more time and space than they're used to seeing in this schedule, so they were able to work with it and make it pay off. And it was a lot of fun to watch them because they were celebrating their senior night. Had 5 of the 6 seniors, I think it is, on the roster got goals. So
that's always fun. Does Grace Stevenson play any other sports? Why do I think she's a hockey player?
I don't believe she, not that I know of for sure. I don't believe is a hockey player. Don't think she plays basketball. I think she runs track, so she is a multi-sport athlete. But I think it's just soccer and track. Please forgive me if I'm wrong, Stevenson family.
Stevenson family, big supporters of Coon Rapids soccer, obviously very involved in the boosters, from what I've been told.
Well, and Grace is, they've got a senior class that is going to be certainly missed. Her and Anna Langworthy, those two especially are going to be hard to replace. They've been big contributors. Izzy Allen, I suppose, as well. Big contributors for the last several years. So they've got they're going to have some holes to fill, but they've got good leadership this year going into the playoffs, and they're hoping, again, that they can try and get something going here tonight and go in with a 3-game win streak. One of these teams will go into the postseason on a 3-game win streak. Of course, now that I say that, they could end in a draw.
3-game unbeaten run?
There's that.
So we'll go with the...
See what the Cardinals do with this free kick. Not a bad spot for it. Bakri will line it up for the Cardinals. Stopped up out front, comes back to Bakri. She boots it right on goal.
That had some sizzle to it.
Keeper had no problem with it. That's Sophia Lehman.
Didn't get all the way through, and then it came out to Bakri, and she lined it up and really tested Lehman.
It was a laser.
Another injury in front of the... I believe it's a head injury is what the head coach
Well, I think
so did Easley. Amari Easley took the worst of that as well.
Easley came together with Bailey Rao.
Yep.
There you go, some coaching.
Yes.
Free of charge.
That's right. Courtesy of the head coach for Champlin Park.
I love the approach. Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually.
It's a great coaching strategy.
Yeah, it's very
approachable.
I can't imagine what would have happened if the player had said no. I don't understand, Coach.
No, it doesn't make sense.
I believe Ben Benson's first year in charge of the Cardinals program. Young guy.
Yep, and they have had a bit of a turnaround year. They had 5 wins 2 seasons ago, only 1 last year. And last year, the struggles with scoring were on another level. The Cardinals had, 12 goals on the season coming into Monday, so now 21 goals on the season. I think they finished with 8 goals all of last year.
Hard to win, scoring 8 goals.
Yeah, over a, 16-game schedule or whatever it is.
He scored more than that on Monday night.
Well, not quite, but... Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah. They did, exactly. They did. 1 more. If my math is correct.
Yeah, I'm easily confused. So, but they've taken steps this season, and we talked about it on Sports Night a couple weeks ago. While they went, there were 3 games in a row, I think they lost them 4-1, 5-1, and and 2-1 or something along those lines. But talks about the importance of just for this program to just make sure you get at least one a night. That's progress. And then to get to the point where it started to seep through, and all of a sudden the dam burst on Monday. It started to let loose on Saturday when they put 4 on the board, and then on Monday it absolutely burst open.
We talked about it in the boys' game, Joe. Scoring is contagious, and it's one of those things where, just seeing the ball go in and kind of having the confidence that you could do it, as Amari Easley has had to go out due to a bloody nose, and I wonder if that stemmed from the head collision she had in front of the Coon Rapids bench. But back to the offense, yeah, just you see your teammates getting involved, you possess the ball, you're that much more calm and confident with it, and it's a little thing, but the old sports momentum, it can kind of get rolling. And so I have no doubt that what they did on Saturday was key to having them have that 9-1 victory on Monday. And on senior night, sounds like the kids were just having an absolute blast.
They were, and it was a lot of fun to see them celebrate and have that much success. And now they're trying to keep that streak alive here against Champlin Park. Not a lot of action, really. One good, strong shot on each net through the first almost 12 minutes. This one played right across the goal mouth.
Full offside flag is up on the far side. Yeah, you don't necessarily see a lot of teams do that sort of deliberate high line offside trap, but it's a real feast or famine kind of thing when you do, that's your defensive strategy, because it can work wonders if the offside is being called and you're just constantly forcing the forwards to have to come back. But if you get caught, it can lead to one-on-one situations, breakaways against your goaltender. Goalkeeper, I guess goaltender is more of a hockey term.
Ketting playing it back, now sent through by Blanche.
Pitch side Mike's picking up a lot of the chatter. So much communication going on from both teams on the field. Good ball.
In deep and lost out the end line. But it'll be out off the Cardinals, so a corner kick upcoming.
Nice job there by the captain and leading scorer, Olivia Mell, the junior forward. Just making that run down the right wing, and they found her in that space. Earns the first corner kick of the game for the Rebels. Second corner kick.
Sophie Blanchette will serve it to the top of the box. Macri got there first, got it cleared for the Cardinals. Recovered now by Ketting. And lost out of bounds.
Like the boys team, they have 4 captains' armbands. Seniors.
Stella Bone will race out and grab that in front of a couple of oncoming attackers, including Zoe Kuznirik.
We talked about Luke Rising having good instincts and knowing when to come out and get it. Stella Bone working on that, continuing to work on that as well. She did a nice job going to collect it. You really have to own it when it's in that 18-yard box. Ray Stevenson a little befuddled by that foul call.
Well, and I think her argument is, hey, she slowed down to just try and interfere with my pass to the ball. All I did was run around her.
It's obstruction, sir.
That's what they call it. if they call it. Not sure what they called maybe an elbow. Cross in deep. Backery blocks it up out the end line. Another corner kick upcoming.
Great job there by Blanchette, the junior midfielder. Raced by a couple Cardinal defenders and got a nice cross in. And if you're not going to get it on the head of one of your teammates, at least try to earn a corner. And that's exactly what she got out of it.
Blanchette to serve it in again, this time high loft toward the back post. Takes a hop, then sent well wide of the mark by Ariana Egan.
It was not that long ago, Joe, where this Champlin Park team was a real threat. They were a powerhouse. I remember calling them in a couple state quarterfinals in 18, 19. They've obviously fallen on hard times a little bit this year, but this Rebels team has consistently been up there with the likes of Maple Grove and Centennial over the past 5-10 years as one of the best in the NWSC.
Calla battling to get around Maya Thompson, lost out the end line, and it'll be a Cardinal goal kick.
It's a cool night for the fans in the stands, but yeah, it's got to feel good when you're playing out there. It's a little bit of a break from the heat we've had this season.
Yeah, well, and really this is the weather they've been expecting to play in all year. It's still a little bit of warm for that. We've had a little more rain this fall than we did in the summer, but still have not seen a ton of precipitation over the last 5 months. So, and it stayed relatively warm. I mean, we had that unusual hot spell at the beginning of the week or over the weekend, but yeah, you're expecting when you get into October it to be a little chilly out. Apparently, according to the weatherman, it was in the 60s this morning at 7 o'clock, and normally it's this time of year we're in the mid 40s, upper 40s. So considerably warmer, but don't worry, winter will come. It is inevitable.
Come and will stay. Just a matter of how long.
Well, and I'm a Minnesota guy. I love Minnesota winters, a lot of it, but
sometimes
they can continue. They can continue on and on.
Well, I'm getting married October 21st, so I'm just hoping for decent weather through that.
And hopefully beautiful. That should be like peak color.
Yes.
Right? In Minnesota, are you getting?
Yes, that's the goal.
Is it local? Is it?
Yes. Over in the Edina, St. Louis Park area. So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll hope the weather
holds off and that it's not in the 40s. Anything else, I'll take.
It's not in the 40s. Careful 50s, what you wish for.
Well, 50s.
You say anything else, I'll take. And now it's 20, and there's 3 feet of snow.
I think my goal 45 to 70. And even
it's a nice
70,
wide margin to shoot for.
It is. 55 would be fine. Just something where I'm not sweating like a hog.
Well, I just hope it's going to be a wonderful day for you regardless.
Yes, thank you.
But yes, I hope the weather cooperates for you and your lovely bride. Midway through this first half, no score, and really one good scoring chance on each side. Champlin maybe had a little bit more possession time, but has not found their way into great threatening areas. That one came up and got Stevenson on the arm.
As Rue gets set to return for Coon Rapids.
Yeah, it's good to see Bailey Rao coming back. Still see Jeremy Shepard down working on the right knee of Kaylin Green. There's no brace on it of any sort, so that I hope is a good sign. Again, we talk about it all the time. You hate to see any athlete lose any portion of their high school career because it's so finite. It happens so fast, and they should have the opportunity to, compete and enjoy it from start to finish.
And you don't get those times back, right?
No.
They come and go, and especially in Minnesota, the fall and spring sports, those seasons are so short. They're all short, but it just feels like particularly it's a small window. This is the last regular season game. Feels like we just started broadcasting, in late August.
Well, in some respects, we did start broadcasting in late August.
That is true.
But in some respects, I'm really new to it because I wasn't at a soccer game until Monday, just as the schedule would have it.
Yep.
We kind of did our schedule. I'm not sure why. We had a couple of early games early in the season, a couple of games right at the end,
which I did, and so it's fun to see the Cardinals and how they've grown from the beginning of the regular season to now. Angelina LeClaire is certainly a player that stuck out to me in the games against Maple Grove and Anoka that I called just a really decisive center back, physical, and really, communicates well back there on that back line.
And just a sophomore.
So she'll be one of those building blocks that Ben Benson uses after all the seniors leave.
They'll still have some very nice pieces, but a couple of.
She's one of them, though.
Absolutely. And Stella Bowen and Bailey Rao. Bailey Rao, a junior captain.
I like that concept of having a junior or a sophomore be a captain, just for the continuity's sake.
This one forced out of bounds. Was the closest the Rebels have gotten to actually getting it to an attacking area for as long as they have been down in this end, or it has seemed they have been. They really have not been able to get into the great scoring areas too often. Stevenson cutting back, trying to shed a defender. Pass was intercepted by Hayden Kala. And now Bailey Rao back on the turf.
Good job by Rao to read that play, step in front, and earn the free kick for her team. And yeah, the play that stands out for me in this first half is Stella Bone pushing that shot around the post after that deflection. That was really the best chance either team has had so far.
Well, that and Backery's shot
from distance,
the bullet that went right at Sophia Lehman. But yeah, really, those two are the only real scoring chances we've seen, one at each end. And the one that Bone got a piece of, there was not a lot on that shot, but it looked to be like it was heading just inside the post, and she got just a fingertip on it, just enough to send it wide.
And those ones are always the toughest ones for goalies to deal with, too, because you're expecting the shot to go one way, and then the deflection as the offside flag is once again up on the Rebels on the far side. You're expecting it to go one way, and then you have to adjust mid-flight and react. It's really a reaction save that Stella Bone made. I believe that's the third or fourth offside on the Rebels in the first half.
Yang wins free kick, and it caught Bakri up around the shoulder, so handball will start all over. Again, Champlin trying to work it into the middle. Peach plays it back. The shot from Harbaugh. Shot from a long ways out and taken on a hop by Stella Bone.
Great job of shot blocking by Bakri, and she even bothered the shot there of the Champlin Park midfielder Catherine Kelly, the sophomore. Wasn't able to get much on it. So Sophia Bakri, would you not agree, Joe? She's just generally everywhere for this Coon Rapids team in that midfield position.
Yep, and she and Bailey Rao will be kind of the building blocks for the team as they move forward next year. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Sophia if, because of the loss of Grace, they try and convert her
striker
and send her up front to attack. She's so good in the midfield, and she can do so much from that position. But, we've talked about it. Struggles with scoring. You want to put girls who can handle the ball at the attacking end, give them a chance to be the ones to finish for you. But who knows? I mean, obviously, Kaylin Green will be she plays a middle. She plays midfield as well, but she's another that very aggressive, good athlete, good nose for the ball, and is just a sophomore. So, she could be one that's playing all the way up front as well.
Yeah, no question. It is a tough decision, right? Because do you want Bakri to be sort of that do-everything player that she continues or has been this year, or, you saw that shot from distance. She has goals in her. Just do you want to play her in that Grace Stevenson role next year?
Down the wing comes Hayden Kala.
Great tackle.
Was that Isabel Allen, I think?
I believe so. Hayden Keller remains down, but now she's up. It was hard to tell with the timing.
No, I think that was Angelina LeClaire.
Oh, LeClaire threw herself in. Okay. It was hard to tell from up here, but it was a desperate time for a tackle. As take a look at the replay here. And LeClaire again. It's exactly what I was talking about before, where LeClaire, it's not always the prettiest, but she throws herself into tackles. That's what you need, right, from your center back. Block shots, make tackles, and come over and take the right angles to do so. Runs out of bounds here, so it'll be a goal kick. But, yeah, you do have to be very careful, though, when you leave your feet in the box, because that's can lead to a lot of penalties. But she got the ball and did her job as a center back.
Yeah, it was not exactly graceful, but it was effective.
Yeah, exactly. Well put. Neither team dominating possession like Champlin Park did in the boys' game.
Well, here's an opportunity for the Rebels. That shot is going to go wide, though, and end up out the end line. And you mentioned they'd already had a handful of offside. I thought that one appeared more offside than some of the previous ones.
Instead, it was shot well wide.
That was Olivia Mell on the far side with the shot.
Yeah, I think she's their real danger player up top, coming off of that right wing. She's been involved in a lot of their goal-scoring opportunities, so one certainly that the Cardinals are aware of defensively. But yeah, like I was saying, but in the boys' game, it was at times like 80-20 possession. Here, it's much more 50-50, and you can tell why these teams are so close to each other, or basically tied in the conference standings.
Yeah, Cardinals have been able to pretty much neutralize almost everything that Champlin Park has tried to do. Rebels maybe a slight, as you mentioned, it was far more tilted possession time in the boys' match, but you know, the Champlin girls probably have had a little bit more possession time. Here's another opportunity. Great job getting back by Bailey Rao. She just outran the Rebel attacker and took it away.
Tatum Peach, I believe, was the one that was in on goal, and Rao, just a great angle to cut off the attack. Nice ball through by Easley, and then Peach, Rao just read it and wanted it more, got there ahead of her.
Cardinals goal kick stopped up by Easley.
For me so far, Easley's been the most impressive player for Champlin Park. As Cardinals earn another free kick.
A little bit of contact and the whistle blows.
I thought that was for a handball. I didn't even think it was for the contact, but yeah, and that's the thing, is like this game is being reffed differently than the previous one, different refs. So as players, you just have to adjust, figure out how tight the whistle is, and then adjust accordingly. Again, Sophia Bakri in the middle of action.
Yeah, I was going to say Cardinals momentarily getting it close to the good attacking area.
Another foul committed this time.
Yeah, Leclerc cut her off, took the ball, took a little push, and gets the whistle.
Kyla Kading whistled for the infraction, but yeah, Bakri tried to play a through ball there, and both teams just looking for that sort of finishing touch in the 18-yard box to test the goalkeepers, who have not had to do a ton here in this first half. They've been active, they've touched the ball, but they have not had to make really too many difficult saves.
Well, and again, you talk about their records are nearly identical. You know, very similar seasons for both teams. I think Champlin Park has maybe been a little more steady when the Cardinals have roller coastered a little bit between, you know, feast or famine on the offensive end, and sometimes on the defensive end they've given up, you know, a fair amount of goals in a couple of those contests that they would like to have back. But you know, the goals are going to be at a premium in this contest.
First to score wins, maybe.
Perhaps, because you know, neither team has a real potent offense, but both teams also generally play pretty good defense. The Cardinals have had a couple of games, like I said, that they'd like to have back, but for the most part, they've been sound on the defensive end.
And a Langworthy back, and you kind of wonder, Joe, or I've wondered this certainly, Langworthy's been battling injuries all season long, and how much different this Cardinals season might have been had she been fully healthy.
Yeah, she was sidelined at the very beginning of the season.
And I think she's gutted through a lot of those injuries, at least in the games I've seen her in, but I don't know if she's ever been fully healthy.
Easily pushing it ahead too far as Bone comes out and scoops it up in front of number 21 that is not on our roster.
Don't you love that?
Xaviera Bonifacius. It's a long story, inside joke. But it's soccer, so we have time to tell it.
That's right.
This happened, I don't know, 5+ years ago, that there was someone on the football team that did not have a number, and I don't remember if it was not a Cardinal, but we were talking about it, and what do we call him, and Adam Tronson, head wrestling coach and who also does the PA for football, brought up the name Xavier Bonifacius. So now anytime we get into a game and there's someone on the field that is not on the roster, they become Xavier, or in this case, Xavieria Bonifacius.
I love that.
Langworthy was on the run, but their first is Lehman to scoop it up. We're under 5 minutes remaining in this opening half. No score between Coon Rapids and Champlin Park.
Of course, no overtime in regular season soccer this year, so if it ends in a scoreless draw, each team will pick up a point. And
I wonder what thinking or what voting went into that. Was it that they just weren't seeing those 2 5-minute overtimes resulting in a win, so why play the extra time? If it's a tie, it's a tie. I always wonder about rule changes like that, if what went into the decision.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and to be honest, I'm not sure, but I do think that it's a positive rule change. You have a standing scoring system in place that allows for ties. So, yeah, maybe it's just that the 10 minutes wasn't yielding wins, or a scheduling thing because of 5 and 7 double headers.
2v1, cross out front, turned away, but right back to the Rebels. Continuing the attack, a shot, sliding block, and great clear by Bailey Rao.
Unbelievable. Slides
and
that
then was Sophia Bakri, sorry.
Slides and gets up and now leads the counterattack. She is everywhere, like we said.
This is Rao. Stopped up.
See, that's what you might be missing if you move her to that sort of central lone striker position. So, but just the reaction to go to ground and then get up and clear the ball. Unbelievable athleticism from Sophia Bakri, but yeah, I don't think it's been a bad change. You'd have to talk to the coaches to see what they think, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's each team gets a point out of the deal.
And I always thought it was interesting that the way the high school league decided to do their overtimes was 2 5-minute overtimes, and it was all you can eat instead of a golden goal situation, which it would be if you got to overtime in the playoffs. So maybe that factors in too, right? Because that's a game that goes to overtime that doesn't end in a win, because one team might score in the first half, the other team might answer in the second half of the overtime, and you still have a score after 10 extra minutes.
And it's a short season too, so maybe they just didn't, from a sports science perspective, didn't want to have another 10 minutes of soccer in some of these games on these athletes with games, every couple of days. We said that Cardinals just played a game on Monday, so usually a couple-day turnaround, and trying to get all these games in the regular season.
Trying to feed Maya Thomas on the run, and it just missed her.
But, yeah, if I had to guess, if I had to put it on one thing, I would say that it's probably the fact that, these 5 and 7 p.m. games, they're trying to keep them at 5 and 7, they're trying to keep it on a schedule for these double headers.
Yeah, it does cause problems, I suppose, if the game that goes to overtime is the early game.
Certainly does in hockey when the JV game goes to overtime before varsity starts.
Ball still loose, finally cleared, unfortunately, out the end line. So another corner kick coming up, just 30 seconds left in the half.
Bakri again cleaning up the danger. But the Cardinals living dangerously. They got a sort things out in the back line.
Blanchette's serve was first touched by the Cardinals. They're able to clear, get it back out to midfield before it gets turned around. Into the final 10 seconds. Bailey Rao battling, able to force it out the sideline instead of the end line. And we go to the half in a scoreless tie. You're watching girls soccer on CTN. First half stats after this. Back at the Cardinals Stadium, Coon Rapids and Champlin Park in a scoreless tie. Would not have surprised me before we started if you told me it would be a scoreless tie at the half.
Yep, Stella Bone coming up big though. This is maybe the best chance of the half from Sophia Bakri for the Cardinals. Lasers a shot there, but most of the chances probably coming the Champlin Park way, but a great job by players like Sophia Bakri to get her body in the way and block shots, and that's why we stand scoreless at halftime.
40 more minutes to play. It's the regular season finale, and the second half is next on CTN.
Want to know the who, what, when, and where of Coon Rapids? Then follow CTN on social media. It's that simple. Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, keep up with local news, sports, and events. And the people who make our community such a great place to live. So give us a follow, like, share, or subscribe, and always be the first to know what's up in Coon Rapids. That's CTN, helping you stay connected.
Back at the Cardinals Stadium, second half of this girls soccer season finale, regular season finale, I should say. Scoreless as we start the second. Olivia Mell getting around a defender, puts a shot that's just going to sail wide and go out the end line and become a goal kick.
That was the best offensive sequence for either team all game. And it was simple, just a ball into the channel for Mel, and then she cuts it back on the overplay. Rao just a little bit out of control on that closeout. She just cuts it back and then flashes a shot just wide of the post, but that had plenty of pace. There was no way Stella Bone was going to save that. So Cardinals fortunate that it goes wide.
Bakri had it stolen away by Blanchette. She is denied access to the scoring zone. Sends it out the end line, and we have another goal kick.
Champlin Park starting the second half on the front foot. Cardinals have to match the energy and the intensity, but they've turned it over several times already just outside their 18-yard box.
Long shot, well wide, another goal kick.
And that one looked like it might have beaten Bone, but she had it well covered and just ushers it out of play. And again, that's that spatial awareness that I talked about with Bone, where she's always aware of where she is in relation to her posts, and she knows what's going wide.
Never want to be too confident of that.
No. Yeah, you don't want to usher the ball into the back of your net, but
I would much rather you go outside the post a little bit than not quite far enough. Rebels trying to build an attack down the right wing, but slowed and turned around by Rao, and now that pass off the feet of Ariana Egan and out of bounds.
We are getting a coaching clinic from this Champlin Park head coach as
you know, as it would have it, he's just kind of right in the line of the microphone on the sideline, so we get all the inside goop. Turning with it is Easley.
Easley with some good footwork there, and now trying to be physical, keeping that ball in possession, and she does earn herself. Rao disagrees, but she does earn Champlin Park a corner.
So Blanchette will head to the far corner, and she's shown the ability to serve it wherever she really wants, and that's what you need from the person handling your corners. This time went short side. The Cardinals able to snuff it out quickly and get it all the way to the other end.
Cardinals need to push up a little bit to try to keep the Rebels from getting it past midfield. First foul goes the way of Coon Rapids. Part of it is that the Rebels coach is not quiet, but
Rao will run onto this one, send it toward the corner. One touch into the middle. Thomas's shot is deflected into the near corner and now cleared away out of play by Egan.
I like that the Cardinals don't seem to be being too exact with their offensive attack. They're getting it, they're direct, and they're getting shots off, even though the Rebels have blocked a few.
Rao trying to get this into the middle where Bakary was waiting, but was turned around. Good step up there from LeClaire.
See, this is better for Coon Rapids, pinning Champlin Park, pressing them, and not allowing them to get out of their own end.
Good steal by Rao near midfield. Get it turned around momentarily.
Trying to switch that field, tilt it down toward the westward goal to our left.
That one came up, got the hand of Callie Alphin.
She's had a quiet night so far, but she's also integral in the Coon Rapids attack.
And the future of the program, just a freshman.
Once again, Bone gets there first, comes off her line just ahead of the onrushing attacker in the form of Carissa Brew.
Rebels again trying to build something, interrupted by Hafslin, puts it into the middle. Alphin chips it out wide. Long shot going just wide for Stevenson.
You know, and we haven't touched on it too much, but obviously the loss of Kaylin Green, all of a sudden you've lost your attacker down that right wing. And so everybody has to shift. Everyone has to do a little bit different of a role. So yeah, her injury is early in the game.
First minute
was a blow to the Cardinals' attack. Now, how do they adjust? How does Ben Benson adjust the formation and put his players in different positions to succeed? A lot of times teams, you know, with right-footed players especially, like to attack down that right wing. So there's no doubt it is a loss. And hopefully she'll be able to be back for the playoffs. I assume those pairings will be announced around Friday or Saturday.
Wow, Bone way out and got there just in front of Easley. That's your young goalkeeper going out and challenging one of their team's leading scorers for the ball 30 yards away from her net.
Yeah, that was aggressive. And I asked that question because I didn't think Stella Bone would come all the way out and challenge easily. But she got there first, and she had to.
Well, yeah, once she committed, and we talked about that during the boys' game, talking about the way Luke Rising plays the position. Once you decide you're going to go get that ball, there can be nothing but getting to that ball. You can't go halfway and then go, maybe not.
Amara easily 2 goals on the season, second on the team in goals, tied with Kayla Keating and Olivia Mell, though their leading scorer, 3 goals and 3 assists. So 10 and 2 are what the Cardinals defense really has to mark.
Here is Mel, tried to leave it off for Egan, a little miscommunication. Mel got it back, disrupted by Hafsland. Cardinals able to clear it. Langworthy keeps it in along the near sideline.
Good ball.
Ahead for Stevenson. Stevenson. Marked closely, ball tipped out of bounds by Riley Sissenbath.
Stevenson right into the face, and it's going to be a penalty. Handball.
Handball, was it inside? No, it was just outside the box.
Oh, I thought I saw him pointing to the spot.
Yep, that's the right call. It definitely hit her in the hand.
Looked like it may have come off. I thought it had come off her face, Carissa Brew, but
it's a great opportunity right here.
Sure is.
They're going to put a 5-player lineup in front of her. Try to go over the top and spun it wide. Out of bounds, goal kick upcoming.
She was trying to go for that upper 90 in the right-hand corner. There was no way the keeper was going to get over there, and she just missed. That did not miss by much, Joe. Right idea from Grace Stevenson.
Yeah, that's a hand right there.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure she got a piece of it. That was Mel getting a hand up.
How do you miss that as a ref? Literally jumping and...
Well, they didn't miss that handball.
Oh, my gosh.
But, yeah, you can't...
I mean, maybe... is that an instinctive reaction when you jump in the wall to throw your hands up? I don't know, but that was...
Because at that position, if you do touch it with your hand, it should be a penalty kick.
Oh, of course. What's interesting...
Bowen plays it on a high hop. Calm, cool, collected, was never concerned about that, despite the fact that there were 3 Champlin Park forwards rushing right at her.
What's interesting is that Stevenson and nobody else on the field that I saw even appealed for a handball. So I'm not sure, the ref clearly missed it. I'm not sure they saw it really either.
I saw her hand go up. I'm not sure. I mean, the replay made it look like she definitely did get a piece of it. But, yeah, if she got a piece of it with the hand raised like that. But, yeah, you're right, too. Stevenson didn't argue that. And Stevenson really immediately argued the initial handball that got her the free kick in the first place.
So, yeah, it seems like everyone missed it, but from the replay, yeah, definitely not in a natural position, right? That's what the rule says. It has to be in a natural position, and jumping up is not. So we remain scoreless.
I did not know that that's the way the rule works.
That's the language of the rule is if the hand is in an unnatural position. However, the debate is always, okay, well, what's that? What does that mean?
Right.
Like,
leaves
it's still subjective.
A lot for interpretation.
Absolutely. And that's why you have, controversies.
My hand just naturally caught the ball. It's natural.
When a ball comes to my hand, I catch it. That's what I do. Something your son might say as a former baseball catcher.
It was definitely not something I played soccer a little later into life than he did, but that was something that I always struggled with, was not putting my hands up, catch it with your chest. Ball, I just.
It takes some practice. It feels like if the Cardinals are going to score, it's going to come from a set piece. They are getting their share of free kicks in good positions.
Well, this one's from a long ways out.
Sure.
Isabel Allen will get it right back and then serve it down that right wing again. And
Stevenson earns another foul.
They blew the whistle. He pointed the wrong way. I was a little confused there.
So was I.
How he was going to call that.
Stevenson looked confused as well.
Yeah, it was a solid body check by Grace Stevenson, and a little collision, no foul, but now there will be a whistle as Samantha Harbaugh kind of got rolled over. Both number 11s going for the ball. Isabel Allen rolled over the top of Harbaugh, and Harbaugh a little slow to get up. Yeah, I don't really recognize any of the Champlin Park girls' names from hockey either. It's a pretty common crossover from hockey to soccer. And of course, these two schools share one hockey team.
So no Bluebirds on the roster, huh?
That
you can see.
Not that
you would know.
I mean, and somebody will probably be like, "Well, of course I am. I'm a third line wing that gets 5 minutes a game last year, but will be a big part this year." Great. And I'm not in that season, so you could probably put their whole starting line up there, and I'd be like, a couple of those names seem familiar. Not sure why.
Talk about a program that's had a successful run the last couple of years.
Well, yeah, that was the thought behind initially going to the co-op. Again, Bowen comes out, gets it in front of the charging Rebels. The first co-op was with Spring Lake Park, and the Catbird co-op that lasted, I think, 2 seasons, maybe 3. And then Champlin Park was actually a more natural fit because in youth, those two programs play together. Langworthy trying to cross. That stopped up.
Really good passage of play right there from Coon Rapids, just pinging the ball around, playing it into the channels. Grace Stevenson involved as usual, so along with Sophia Backery. But this has been better from Coon Rapids after Champlin Park had the better of the first 6-7 minutes.
Good turn by Mel along the sideline, and she's going to lose control right in front of her own bench. And that is, I will say, clearly the ball still ran out of bounds there, but it's so much better now with the turf. Since the turf was put in, easily takes the rough end of a collision near midfield.
Sort of sandwiched in between Cardinal players. She's been banged up a couple times in this game. Free kick, though, for Coon Rapids. She did almost just sort of run into the back.
I was just going to say, she kind of ran into the fray. I mean, credit for being, trying to force the turnover and, being aggressive, but I was going to say, it ran out of bounds there, but it's so much better now than it was when it was turf, when it was grass, and the field had to be crowned for runoff. And now you have a completely flat field. And there used to be in the very corner to our right, near side, there was like sewer drain. And so it really dipped down low in that very corner of the.
Dangerous.
I mean, it was far enough off field, but the surrounding, grass was rounded to make sure that everything ran to the drain. Mel trying to cut back in again. Denied by LeClaire, and that will draw the whistle. And
now,
this will be a dangerous spot for Champlin Park.
Yeah, a little bit more of an angle, but still certainly close enough to go for goal as Stella Bone tries to line up a small wall.
Sophie Blanchette will serve it to the back line. Nobody could get a header on it, and it ends up out the end line. And the Cardinals get fortunate because they had bodies there. It was served up well by Blanchette, just nobody able to connect with it on the back end.
Yep, just a little chip to the back post, and
she did get a header on it, just spun wide.
Wow, that's an opportunity that Zoe Kuznierik would like back, because it should have been 1-0. And Ben Benson was coming down the line. You could hear him over our broadcast talking about how there were unmarked players, and sure enough, one of them got a free header.
Yeah, I thought she just missed it, but she got it, just sent it just wide.
She did just miss it. Just missed the net.
Yes. But yeah, there was definitely bodies there, and best scoring opportunity for either team so far tonight. We're almost midway through the second half. Still in a scoreless tie between 4 and 10 teams.
Both 1 and 9 in Northwest Suburban Conference play. Twins have advanced, in case you're wondering.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, series sweep.
It gets a whole lot harder from here.
Yeah, 2-0. Well, you got to win the first to get to the second, and now the Astros await. And I have to imagine the home games for that series will be raucous.
So we have confirmation that CTN will not be covering the football game on Friday night. CrimsonFootball.com is going to cover the Maple Grove homecoming game.
Now, see, that's interesting because I know for a fact that CCX does some Maple Grove games.
I would assume that they did. That was my first thought when I heard that.
So CrimsonFootball.com, I don't know if it's a regular thing for them to do the home games.
They have a website, the Crimson Sports Network, broadcast partner of Maple Grove High School. Oh. So it's perhaps CCX only does Maple Grove games on the road.
Could be. I don't know.
And maybe they only do their home games, and there were 4. They only get 4 games. They're not going to give one up to the kids from across the river with their fancy truck and their highfalutin, high definition cameras,
and their high production quality,
and their questionable announcers. Shot from a ways out. Stella Bone is there. We stay scoreless.
Do they know we have Joel Sipper? That's what I want to know.
That is the question. I mean, if they were aware of the folklore behind the Minneota masher that is now Neil Highlights Hennon, they would certainly give way. But that's unfortunate. It's the second football game this season, regular season, that we are going to miss out on as a CTN crew. And we definitely wish the Cardinals the best. We will see them back here for their homecoming next Thursday night against the Blaine Bengals. And as I mentioned earlier during this contest, I'm calling it. This is the year the Cardinals beat the Bengals. Haven't played each other, obviously, in the last 7 years, but the Cardinals in our tenure, Howie and I's tenure here, 26 now, starting our 27th season. I believe that only includes 2. 1 for sure, and maybe 2 wins for Coon Rapids over Blaine in football.
Long-time powerhouse, right, in the 90s, I believe. Multiple state championship trips, or trips to the Dome at least, in the bank.
They had a state title in 1989, in which Tommy Newman stepped out of bounds on the 2-point conversion. No good. Cretin-Derham Hall wins. The only person that's for is my wife, and she's probably not watching, but my wife was actually the equipment manager for the football team that year, and
so close.
I like to tease that they lost when they in fact won, because Tommy Newman, who went on to be a goaltender for the Gopher hockey team, was their quarterback, and they scored a touchdown late against Cretin-Derham Hall, and rather than kick the extra point for the tie, they ran a 2-point conversion. Tommy Newman very close to the sidelines, but apparently inbounds. I like to dispute that and say he was out of bounds and that Cretin-Derham Hall should have been the state champions. However, but yeah, they were for years. When we first started in the late 90s, Blaine was the cream of the crop in the Northwest Suburban. They were, of course, that was still during Coach Dave Nelson's tenure before he went to Minnetonka. That program was a powerhouse, to be certain.
Pre-Andover days, right? This
Yes.
was before Andover was a
Yep, Andover, I believe, was built in 2002.
Do you remember calling some good Blaine hockey teams?
Oh, a lot. They had, when Dave Oss was their coach, I think they won state championship or section championship 5 or 6 years in a row. Nick Bukestead. The moment I saw him as a sophomore, that guy was, you could tell he was going places. He was impressive in high school. Riley Tufte, who later won Mr. Hockey out of Blaine as well. He was a lot of fun to watch. Of course, the Brodzinski boys all went through there, and they were all pretty talented. But Blaine, it seemed that the hockey program was a little more up and down than was the football program. Here's a great opportunity getting in. A great sliding save by Stella Bone. Just came out and took it off the foot of Hayden Kala.
And Kala, I believe, is shaken up. Certainly looks like it. Great recovery, though, as Rao bothered things, and then that kind of just nudged her off it a little bit, and Bone comes out and takes it off her toes. And again, another fine defensive effort.
Well, and the Rebels have picked up the pace here in the second half, pushing a little bit more to the net rather than working the perimeter and trying to set up the crosses. And again, good things happen when you go to the net. And here in the second half, the Cardinals, really outside of the one opportunity, they have not been at the opposite end of the field.
Yeah, momentum has certainly swung back in the favor of the Rebels. Good effort by Catherine Kelly to no avail. Anna Langworthy back for Coon Rapids. It's starting to get late, though. We've passed the midway point now, and talked about at halftime, we might be headed for a scoreless draw.
Well, and realistically, as much as the Cardinals would love to score a goal and get a win and be three in a row going to the playoffs, they'd take a draw out of this one.
Absolutely. 3-game unbeaten streak.
Langworthy from a tough angle, and that's going to be a corner kick because of the way that Lehman caught it. She's arguing that she was already out of bounds, and so.
Well, and she thought she'd kept it out of play because you see her just try to reach the ball over, but I think that's the right call. She didn't handle it cleanly, and so.
And one of her feet came down in bounds.
Missed on the punch there, but nobody for the Cardinals there to get it.
And it rolls all the way out the far side.
And who's back in but their leading scorer, Olivia Mell back up top. The alertness of Stella Bone, Joe. I think that's been the key here in the second half, and the reason we're
she's come out and taken away a couple of balls from attackers wearing Rebel garb a ways from the net. Again, she went 30 yards out to challenge easily and won the challenge. So yeah, that has definitely been a factor. But the fact that Champlin Park is creating some more legitimate scoring opportunities for themselves here in the second half has got to be a little bit of a concern for the Cardinals not getting the same kind of opportunity at their offensive end.
Yeah, they're just really playing those long through balls and having their players run onto it. But thankfully for the Cardinals, like Bailey Rao and company, have been really excellent. Rao's been so poised back there.
Reichel crossing, that kind of crossed up the Cardinal defense. Able to get it cleared a bit and now out of bounds.
How many times have we seen Rao chase down, run down the ball and run down the attacker who runs onto it, and then Cooley just getting the ball, the speed and the presence and the poise to turn around with it, do a little Cruyff turn around with it, and rather than just going back through her goalkeeper. That just takes a remarkable amount of defensive poise, and that's what the Cardinals have had in spades here tonight.
Rao in the corner, trying to keep it in, and pressure coming away with it is Ketting. Keating can't keep it in on the end line, and it'll be another goal kick. Cardinals
defense bailed out there. In that instance, you'd rather see Rao just tap it out of bounds, and then your defense can reset. You can get more bodies behind the ball, and things can get organized.
I don't think she knew the pressure was there until it was too late.
Yeah, possibly. She tried to keep it in, but yeah, in that instance, when you have a player on your back, you really just want to get rid of it. And as the Cardinals are in a foul here, starting to get late. It's here second half.
Yeah, we talked about it early in the game. The two teams very similar, don't score a ton of goals, but play pretty sound defensively. Could be a game where first goal wins. And that is certainly looking more and more the case here as we get later and later into the second half.
Grace Stevenson set to return for Coon Rapids, and obviously important part of the offense to have her up top.
Yeah, they want to have her fresh when it matters most.
Still have Langworthy up top, and Stevenson will going to be supporting on the right wing, looks like. Both coaches have done a nice job of rotating their benches and making sure their players stay fresh.
Easily back in for Champlin Park. Talk about getting those top goal scorers on the field for the final 10 minutes of a scoreless draw. Yeah, and you mentioned there's another long through ball trying to just use their speed to get behind the defense. You talk about when the Cardinals were a more consistent competitor in this conference, and they were for a number of years one of those teams, along with Champlin Park, that contended for the conference title year after year, and a lot of times that was their strategy with head coach Jeff DeJoy. he was very good at recruiting and getting athletes out who had a lot of speed. And they played a lot of through balls and just won a lot of races.
And then you don't need to be a prolific striker of the ball. You just have to, race in, and then you basically pass it into the back of the net. If you can get by the goalie or beat the goaltender to their right or left.
Played into the middle, just out of the reach of Schellenberg. Cardinals able to clear it. Stevenson can't get to it, and then not the touch she wanted, but Langworthy able to settle near midfield.
Cardinals doing a nice job of playing it back and then going on runs.
Uh-oh. Here's an opportunity coming in for Kyla Ketting. The shot to save and the cover for Stella Bone.
That was right at where she couldn't have it, basically. And meanwhile, for Centennial, you had Kaylee Stegman, I believe, tripping over. Oh, no, Rao. That's Rao, actually, who tripped over, kind of shoved it in the back. So hopefully she's okay. Kind of took a push into the post. But, yeah, she basically shot at the one place she couldn't, which was right at Bone. Rao seems to be no worse for wear. They stop the clock. If you're going to have any goalkeeper, Joe, run out to the 30-yard line or run 30 yards outside of their goal, it's probably the cross-country runner you want.
Well, I'd rather a sprinter, but I'm sure she does some of that too.
Yeah, but she's not going to come back all winded or anything.
No.
Also would be good if the Cardinals were down a goal and she did one of those things where keepers come up for a last-minute corner. But usually that's so they're another body in the box to head it home. I'm not sure Stella Bone's winning any headers.
She's not the largest body on the pitch.
Diminutive.
Oh, good play.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done.
Coming over, smartly playing it out off the Champlin attacker, getting the goal kick for her squad.
Rao, again, so poised back there, always knows the angles to take, and just those last-ditch interventions. How many times have we seen that from her and Stella Bone tonight? Stella Bone related to Derby, I assume?
Yes, they would be brother and sister.
Yes, so another, we were talking about sibling combos, so that's another one.
Absolutely. Would be odd if they were not. No, we're not related.
Multiple Bone families
that are still completely unrelated. You can have a lot of Smiths, Johnsons, Petersons. That one.
Ooh. That was awfully close. That was awfully close, and it forces a corner.
Blanchette getting just enough room to let that go. And yeah, right through her hands, and fortunately for Bone and the Cardinals, just wide.
And if she's susceptible to anything, it's those high shots that kind of arc in underneath the crossbar.
Blanchette to the top of the box. Shot goes well wide. Off the foot of Hayden Kalla.
Well, I think at this point, Joe, you talked about it earlier in this half. I think the Cardinals would settle for a scoreless draw right now. They'd take the point. Both teams probably would finish the conference season.
Yeah, both teams come in on a 2-game win streak, doing everything they can to try and keep as much momentum as possible headed into the postseason. At this point, according to MinnesotaSports.net, the Cardinals are in the 8th spot of the section. However, that has Cambridge Isani ahead of them by a fraction of a point on the QRF ranking, and they just beat Cambridge Isani 4-2. So I would assume that that's one of those seeding things at the coaches meeting where you've got a pretty good argument to bump yourself from that 7th spot up to 6, considering you beat them and beat them soundly 4-2.
Foul committed here, and so it's a real chance, another good chance. Great pressure applied, forcing the turnover and then earning the free kick.
Oh yeah, she was tripped up. That was Callie Alphin providing the pressure. She was tripped up, and then as the defender went to go around her, kind of caught her in the head with her knee.
Oh, she went for goal there. She went for the
did go
near
short
post.
side and
wow,
hits the side of the net.
Grace Stevenson sort of looking to the bench, but not a bad idea. Try to catch Lehman off her line. And both coaches can point to this. Hey, we finished the season with a point, with a clean sheet, and our defense is sound and tight heading into playoff action, whatever the seeding may be.
That was a really nice step up again by LeClaire there that forced the initial turnover near midfield. Rao just stepped and turned and watched 3 Champlin Park attackers go running by.
Nobody expects that little Cruyff turn that she does, and she's done that several times. Very gutsy.
Shot and a goal, and Champlin Park is on the board with just 3:40 left in the contest. And it's Mel getting loose down the left wing and finally getting on the board.
Yeah, that's a tough one for the Cardinals late. They attack down the left wing this time, and they're kind of stretched thin. It's a 2-on-1, and once Rao couldn't stop Mel, Bone could do very little about it.
And so now a little bit of urgency and desperation for the Cardinals if they want to try and get back to a draw. There's still time. However, with the limited amount of possession and real scoring chances for the Cardinals, it's a little bit of a bigger ask. Bakri trying to force it in there quickly.
I'd like to apologize to the Cardinal soccer fans out there, the broadcaster's jinx. He started talking about the scoreless draw that we were seeing, and of course Champlin Park gets that late goal. Still a chance though here for Coon Rapids.
Bakri on the free kick. Going direct on a bounce, blocked to the corner by Lehman.
Yeah, I'm not sure Lehman needed to dive necessarily, but better safe than sorry in those instances. And you just want to clear the danger, especially with such short time left in the half. Now it's Champlin Park with an opportunity to finish on a 3-game winning streak and start the season 2-0, end the season 3-0. And we'll just ignore that 10-game losing streak
right
in the middle of the year.
Uh-oh. And now it's easily working down the left side, works it into the middle, has some help there. Rao able to get in the way and at least disrupt Mel.
It's going to be a corner. Rao frustrated that she couldn't do more, but oh no, it's going to be a goal kick. I beg your pardon.
I was going to say it should be a goal kick.
I wasn't sure what Rao was throwing her hands up for, but great job again by her of tracking back. And anytime she's had to chase down a Champlin Park attacker, she's been able to do so. You hear Ben Benson talking to his team. He wants more bodies forward with the team trailing by a goal.
And trying to hustle up the punt from the keeper, Stella Bone. Again, get that ball to the other end of the field where you can put pressure on. Langworthy works it back. Rao caught a cleat, and here's Easley running onto it.
Again, LeClaire just sprawling, making the tackle. Hopefully she's okay, but she came over and good recovery for her teammate Rao. Those two, quite a fullback pairing, quite a center back pairing for the Cardinals.
Corner kick for Ariana Egan. The Bakri in position, took the bump and the foul, but we're under a minute remaining. Cardinals trailing 1-0.
Yeah, they got to take this quick and hustle up. Need to push up.
Stop up by Bakri. She'll play it ahead. Good pressure in the middle from Grace Stevenson, and this is going to be a corner kick with 20 seconds left. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, they got to hustle it up. Stevenson, short time, got to get everybody forward, including Stella Bone.
And here comes Stella Bone. Served into the middle. It skips away from Delfrat. Cardinals can't get a good strike on it, and Champlin Park is going to hold on for the 1-0 win on that late goal by Olivia Mell.
Yeah, game effort here tonight from the Cardinals. Just too little too late with that offensive urgency. They lived dangerously all second half, Joe, with those through balls. And ultimately, Olivia Mell doing what she does as the leading scorer for this Champlin Park team and slotting one past Stella Bone. And it ruined what was otherwise a pretty impressive defensive effort here tonight. A couple Grace Stevenson free kicks went close, but Cardinals lose a tough one late here, heading into the playoffs starting next week.
Yeah, and again, that yet to be decided, and we will have a soccer playoff game next week. We think on Tuesday night there will be a game. We will be somewhere.
And I'll be on the bowling broadcast.
And you will be doing the bowling broadcast on Thursday. And we'll be doing prep football on Thursday. So, and you'll come on over and join us at the homecoming game as well. But that's what we have coming up. Again, the final score, 1-0 in favor of Champlin Park. We want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, who is not here, and Bill Hupp, who is, I'm Joe Young, saying goodnight.